Hi everyone, Natalie from Better Reading here. Thanks for having me on again. You all know how this works. I'll tell you what I'm reading and you let me know what you're reading over in the comments, and I can't wait to hear what you have. I'm in a bit of a reading slump, so taking any of your recommendations will be really good as well. We've been reading a lot here in the office though, so I'm very excited to share with you all of that. I'm going to start off with our book of the week, which is going to be on the screen because I don't have a copy with me here in the office. It's Heather Morris's latest novel, Sisters Under the Rising Sun. It's a fantastic book, and a few weeks ago I was joined by Heather Morris in this segment actually. So if you didn't watch that, go and look at it on our Facebook page under the videos. This is a story about sisterhood and survival based on the inspiring, previously unrecognized women who served as nurses during World War II. It is fantastic. There's a lot of music in it. And if you look on the cover, it's a little bit hard to see here, but if you go and research the cover, she's actually included part of the musical score, the original one, on the cover. It's fantastic. It's a great backstory to it. Heather Morris we all love her here in the office, and I know a lot of readers do as well. Some of her books include The Tattooist of Auschwitz, as well as Silke's Journey, Three Sisters, and a few others. All very recognizable covers, books we all love. So definitely check out her latest, Sisters Under the Rising Sun. It is fantastic. Hi everyone, and welcome to Better Reading. I'll just go through your comments. Carolyn says, hi Carolyn. She's had a bit of an Anne Cleeves week and reading her novel A Lesson in Dying and her novella The Girls on the Shore. I haven't read either of those, but I'm going to check them out. Are you enjoying them so far, Carolyn? Alita says, hi Alita. She's reading Don't Tell by Karen Rose. Fantastic. Okay, so again, welcome to Better Reading. And what are you reading? I'm going to be sharing more about Bookstack. We just shared our book of the week, Sisters Under the Rising Sun. And let me know what you're reading in the comments. As I mentioned when I first started, is that I'm in a bit of a reading slump, so really looking for any recommendations that you can give me. Next, I have West Hartkill. I only have a proof, unfortunately, but I mean, this kind of helps explain a little bit about it. Every novel is a puzzle and every reader is a sleuth. This is a murder mystery from a new voice named Dan McDorman, fantastic novelist. A Q&A with him is up on our website now if you want to go and check that out. It's unique and compelling and reads like a jigsaw puzzle that readers have to solve. I mean, who doesn't love to try and play detective when you're reading any type of crime fiction book? So really placing you front and center. This is a very clever way of doing that and interacting reader with the story. So check that one out if you haven't already. Next, I want to also talk about Eden Glassy, which is also a proof, but fantastic read. Sophie read and reviewed this one in our office, and she has said it's one of her favorite reads of the year. Melissa Lukashenko, Can You Ever Go Wrong with a Story by her. This is a sweeping dual timeline historical fiction set between the 1850s and 2024 in Brisbane. It's big, heartfelt, moving, and memorable. It's just fantastic. I can't recommend it enough. Let's see what you're all reading. I'm going to check more of your comments. Michelle is reading the 12 chapters of The Infinite Night by Tracy Harding. Jane is reading The Cake Maker's Wish by Josephine Moon. Love her books. We love Josephine Moon's books. They all have a little bit of foodie fiction in them. And I read her latest book. What was it called again? I'm having a mind blank. Anyone remember the new Josephine Moon book? Come back to me if you do. Emma says, hello. Hi, Emma. Sharon is reading The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave and is really enjoying it. Hi, Jessica. She's reading The Mermaid Chair by Sue Monk-Kidd. Jessie is reading The House of Now and Then by Jo Dixon and The Sewing Factory Girls by Posey Lavelle. I've read The House of Now and Then by Jo Dixon. Fantastic book. Emma is currently reading Gods of the, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Wordwood by R.J. Barker, or Weirdwood, I don't know. Julie is reading Go Set a Watchman by Harper Lee. She found it in a book exchange and has having reread To Kill a Mockingbird last year, she decided that she needed to read it. This is going to be a very controversial comment I'm about to make, and Cheryl won't be happy to hear this, but I've actually never read To Kill a Mockingbird, and it's high on my list, on my to-be-read list, and I just haven't gotten around to it. So let me know in the comments if you read To Kill a Mockingbird. I'm sure pretty much everyone here has, but as Cheryl also says, every book is new until you've read it. So it's still new for me, and maybe that's what I'll need to read to get out of my reading slump. Carolyn says she enjoyed both books by Anne Cleeves, perhaps not up with her top work, but she thinks that Anne Cleeves is such an excellent writer and never disappoints. Great to hear, Carolyn. Rhiannon is reading Sharp's Command by Bernard Cornwell, and Emma says she loves Melissa Lukashenko and wishes some of her books will come back into print. Yeah, you can find some of them in some bookstores, but Eden Glassy is her latest, so definitely check it out if you haven't already, Emma. What else do I have in my list? The Opposite of Success. This is a fantastic, fantastic book. I started reading this one and haven't finished it just yet. It's a little hard for me to read for leisure when we're working here, and not really a complaint because I read some great books here in the office. It's a hilarious debut by Australian author Eleanor Elliott Thomas about a very relatable protagonist who is struggling to juggle it all. And sort of starts off with the blurb, Laurie Hope is about to have the worst day of her life. So kind of goes in a direction you don't expect it to, but read this one and add it to your TBR pile if you haven't already. Also want to talk about Trent Dalton. We love Trent here. Lola in the Mirror is his latest novel. It's a big, sweeping, heartfelt journey about a young, creative girl on the run and living rough. So many layers to this book. Trent, as I said, is fantastic and writes fantastically. And Lola in the Mirror is on the bestseller list and has been for a while now, and it's everywhere and everyone is talking about it. And it's just so great. Check it out. Keep reading some more of your comments. Joanne says her most favorite reads lately have been Horse by Geraldine Brooks. Oh, loved Horse. And The Beautiful Still Life by Sarah Winman. That one was on our top 100 list, and I have not read that one yet, but I think I'll need to add that to my TBR pile. Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus is excellent as well. Thanks, Joanne, for all of those recommendations. That will definitely help me out. I think the TV show of Lessons in Chemistry has just been released recently, so I don't know if anyone's watched that one. I think the last time I was on here, I asked you all if you prefer to read a book before watching the TV show or the movie. I just tend to change it up a bit. If a book is out first, I usually will read that first and then watch the movie or the show. But if I'm late to the party, like with Lessons in Chemistry, I'm more likely to watch the show or the movie and then go and read it, because I find that it sort of just elevates the story when you read it, because obviously there are parts that are left out in TV and film. So that's what I tend to do. But yeah, let me know if you haven't already what you like to do. Let me know in the comments. Next up, I have The Disappearance of Astrid Bricard by Natasha Lester. We love Natasha Lester. She is just great. It delivers fantastic historical fiction and includes fashion in all of her stories in some way. And this one is full of glitz and glam, but it really helps shape the story, but it's not what the whole story is completely about. This follows three timelines, 1923, 1970, and the present day, following fashion legend Astrid Bricard, who goes missing in 1973. And it's three generations of women who try and solve the mystery. Must read and must add to your TBR pile. Jessica hasn't read To Kill a Mockingbird either. So I guess we're in the same boat, Jessica. Maybe we'll both need to add that to the top of our to be read list. Jessie loved To Kill a Mockingbird. I'm sure many did. I don't ever hear a complaint about To Kill a Mockingbird. Melissa says hi, and she's reading The Sugar Palace by Fiona McIntosh. I've heard that was fantastic. Joe Moon's book was, oh, that's right, The Wonderful Thing About Phoenix Rose. How could I forget the title? I've read so many of Josephine Moon's books that I'm like, what was the latest one? Yeah, that one was fantastic, and I believe it featured an all neurodiverse cast. Fantastic read. Taz says hello. She's currently reading The Good Mother by Ray, and that was a great book. I remember reading that one. Alita says To Kill a Mockingbird is one of the greatest books ever written, and I'm sure many others agree with you. Jody is reading Chris Hammer Scrublands. Oh gosh, and if that's your first Chris Hammer read, we recommend The Tilt and the one that just came out a few weeks ago, which is The Seven. Chris Hammer, great backlist, great list of titles. So if you're on a reading spree of Chris Hammer, add those to your list, Jody. Melissa had to study To Kill a Mockingbird at school. See, I was one of those people that my teacher decided not to use that text. She used a different one. So I missed out on To Kill a Mockingbird when all of my friends read it and watched it. And I just wanted to stay away because I wanted to read it on my own. And here I am, 10, 11 years later out of school and still haven't read it. So need to get onto that very soon. Kaz has just started today, The Sugar Palace by Fiona McIntosh. Teresa says To Kill a Mockingbird is a must read. I was a little disappointed with Go Set a Watchman though. I guess that's okay. You're not always going to love every aspect of every book by the same author, but hey, I'm sure it's still fantastic writing by Harper Lee. Another book I want to talk about is Melissa Ashley's The Naturalist of Amsterdam. We had Melissa Ashley come into our office yesterday. She was lovely to meet. And you might recognize some of her other books, The Bee and the Orange Tree and The Birdman's Wife. This is historical fiction from Melissa Ashley. It's about the untold stories and contributions of women who shaped our scientific understanding of the natural world in the 18th century. There are so many layers to this, and if you're a fan of historical fiction, then this book has it all. But if you just really want to get stuck into the bones of a good book, then I also recommend adding this to your TBR pile. I also added this to a book list we did yesterday because we're in spring. We're having some fantastic weather here in Sydney at least. And I thought it would be fun to talk about different types of spring reads, something that featured anything floral or reminiscent of spring in some way. So this one had the cover, obviously, and different elements of the story. Some others that I'd add to that list are Shankari Chandran's Chai Time at Cinnamon Gardens, as well as Erica James' A Secret Garden Affair, and Dreaming in French by Vanessa McCausland. Let me know if you've read any of those and if there are any other spring reads that you would add to that stack. Those were just the ones that I thought we'll talk about. Where am I up to? Okay, I think I've lost myself with the comments. But I'm here today because Cheryl and Jane are actually over at Lismore, and they are doing the When Love Comes to Town event tonight, and that's in Lismore. So they've flown over there and they're having a great time. And the event is tonight with Alyssa Callan, Rachel Johns, and Lucy Lever, all promoting their fantastic books, moderated by Cheryl, and Jane will be there too. But I guess in light of that, and that being an in-person event, we have the fantastic rural romance royalty Rachel Johns to promote her latest book coming out next week, Talk to the Heart. So join us next Wednesday at 8 p.m, I think it is, Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, and Rachel will be there to answer all of your questions in a face-to-camera event. So definitely RSVP. We'll put the link in the comments for that as well. So Rachel Johns, if you're a fan, join that event. Jessie says she loved Dreaming in French. Jane said she loved The Secret Garden Affair. This is part of our spring book stack that we thought we'd feature with you this week. We loved those books, all of them. And lastly, I just want to talk about some of our recent podcasts. Jane and Cheryl. So Jane hosts the Be Better podcast, which is all about be inspired, be well, be happy, self-help, as Cheryl likes to call it, woo-woo genre. And she spoke with Kaz Cook about her new book, It's the Menopause. They had a great time, and it's a fantastic conversation, really for any kind of listener. So go and check out the podcast on our Be Better podcast with Jane for that one. And then Cheryl spoke to Rachel Matthews about her new book, Never Look Desperate, and that conversation is also out now. And if you are a fan of Harry Potter in any way, we've got Levi Pinfold, who Cheryl interviewed about this. It's the companion to J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter books. This is the Harry Potter Wizarding Almanac, and it is just so visually stunning, perfect for any gifts for children coming up. But the conversation they had was very enlightening. They speak about illustrations, Harry Potter, and what it came to writing and illustrating this book. So I think that's all from me today. Thanks for sharing what you're reading and some suggestions to get out of my reading slump. I'm going to add To Kill a Mockingbird, I think, to the top of my TBR pile. Thanks for having me on, and we'll see you next week, and I'll go and read all the comments soon. Bye.